On November 26, 1977, a needle-nosed aircraft unlike anything else in the sky touched down at New York's JFK Airport. The Concorde had just crossed the Atlantic Ocean in 3.5 hours, less than half the time of any other commercial airliner. Passengers who boarded in London or Paris arrived in New York before they had departed, thanks to time zones. It seemed like the future of flight had arrived. Yet just over 2 decades later, this technological marvel would be permanently grounded, its promise unfulfilled. The Concorde was born from Cold War-era ambitions and the jet age's boundless optimism. In the 1960s, Britain and France joined forces to build an aircraft that could fly at twice the speed of sound, Mach 2. Engineers solved problems that had never been confronted before, designing a fuselage that could withstand extreme heat, creating engines powerful enough to break the sound barrier, and crafting a delta wing that provided stability at supersonic speeds. When it entered service in 1976, the Concorde represented the pinnacle of aerospace engineering. The statistics were staggering. The Concorde cruised at over 60,000 feet, twice the altitude of conventional jets. Its nose could droop to allow pilots visibility during takeoff and landing, then retract for its sleek supersonic profile. The fuselage stretched up to 6 inches during flight as friction heated the airframe to over 120 degrees Celsius. Only 20 aircraft were ever built, a tiny fleet for what was supposed to revolutionize air travel. Each one cost over £23 million to manufacture. But speed came at an extraordinary cost. The Concorde burned approximately 2 tons of fuel just taxiing to the runway. During flight, it consumed fuel at a rate that made it economically devastating. Its 4 Rolls-Royce engines guzzled roughly 25,000 liters per hour. The aircraft could only carry around 100 passengers, less than half the capacity of a standard wide-body jet. A round-trip ticket between London and New York cost over $12,000 in today's money, restricting its market to the ultra-wealthy and business executives on expense accounts. An even greater obstacle emerged: the sonic boom. When an aircraft exceeds the speed of sound, it creates a shock wave that produces a thunderous double bang. The Concorde's boom was powerful enough to rattle windows and set off car alarms. Environmental concerns and noise complaints led governments worldwide to ban supersonic flight over land. The Concorde was restricted to oceanic routes, limiting its commercial viability to just a handful of transatlantic corridors. The dream of supersonic flights from Los Angeles to Tokyo or Sydney simply couldn't happen. By the 1990s, only British Airways and Air France still operated the Concorde, and even they struggled to make it profitable. The aircraft required constant, expensive maintenance. Its 1960s technology was increasingly outdated in an era of computerized flight systems. Insurance costs soared. The handful of routes, primarily London and Paris to New York, with occasional service to Washington and Barbados, barely sustained operations. Both airlines received government subsidies to keep flying. The Concorde had become more a matter of national pride than sound business. Then came July 25, 2000. Air France Flight 4590 accelerated down the runway at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, bound for New York. A titanium strip that had fallen from another aircraft punctured the Concorde's tire. Debris struck the fuel tank, igniting a catastrophic fire. The plane crashed into a hotel in Gonesse, killing all 109 people on board and 4 on the ground. It was the first and only fatal Concorde accident, but the psychological and financial damage was irreversible. The entire fleet was grounded for modifications. Service resumed in 2001, but the Concorde never recovered. Passenger confidence had evaporated, and the September 11 attacks further devastated luxury air travel. Rising maintenance costs for aging aircraft, combined with dwindling ticket sales, sealed its fate. On October 24, 2003, British Airways Flight BA002 completed the final commercial Concorde flight from New York to London. Crowds gathered at Heathrow to witness the end of an era. The dream of routine supersonic travel was over. Today, commercial aviation is actually slower than it was 50 years ago. The Concorde's failure wasn't technological, it was economic and environmental. In an industry driven by efficiency and cost per seat, the Concorde was an elegant anomaly. It proved that speed alone isn't enough, profitability requires volume, fuel efficiency, and regulatory acceptance. Yet its legacy endures. Companies like Boom Supersonic are attempting to resurrect supersonic travel with modern materials, quieter engines, and designs that might overcome the sonic boom problem. Whether they succeed where Concorde failed remains to be seen. For now, the Concorde stands as a reminder that sometimes the future arrives too early.